we had a big argument and he left. And I was like, oh, no, you're not going to leave this argument. We going to talk this out. I followed him 2 blocks. And he called my mother.
I called her mom.
He called my mom. Can you tell your daughter to go back in the house? We in the street, okay, mind you. And you bring your, but I just was like, and my mom said, he handed the phone to me and my mom said, L.A.R, go home. And then all of a sudden, this big, it felt like a big pain, like my heart was breaking. And I said, but he may not come back. Mm. And he turned around and he heard it. And I just started crying. Gosh, I'm getting emotional. Jesus. And my mom said, let go, just go home. And he looked at me like it's like something clicked for him. And he said, I'm going to come back. I just need a minute. So I said, okay, I'm going to go back home. But I was still mad. But I'm just saying, when he said, I'm going to come back, that's when I was like, okay, that we can disagree. It's okay to disagree. Why am I bawling?
I think I get you a tissue.
It's okay to disagree. And it won't break us. I can be different and not agree with him.
And I don't really know if this is my last time, but what I know is I'm feeling just fine. My life is like a red carpet, and I'm feeling like the richest millionaire. This is my local mayor, and I'm the biggest star around here. What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. We gotta pick this up a little bit. You see the thumbnail, you saw the video, right? That was Legacy, man, and that was a dope thing. That we necessarily don't see enough of. And it's the idea that sometimes we push people away trying not to, quote unquote, be a band. And in my opinion, it could, when you're doing it to someone, they don't care about your internal feelings and what I mean, or your internal monologue. And what I mean is, when Legacy was talking about, he called her mother, and her mother had said, let the man go. Let him cool off. And he had to hear her say, but he ain't coming back. Like, what? I am coming back. Now, for some people, they'll say, that's just a manipulation tactic to get your way. And some people do that. But, there was a news story about the young man who wound up shooting his girlfriend and her kid and himself because she wouldn't leave. And I remember listening to Bernard Riley talk to a young lady about the shooting that happened at the food spot in Chicago with the mother, 14-year-old, and the guy. And she said, she was saying, if somebody was talking to her like that, she might not want to back down. And I think to myself, sometimes y'all don't really get that you think people abandon you, but you push them away because you couldn't chill out. And sometimes when people say people speak things into existence, that's exactly what you do. Because, I've been in those situations where an argument started. And it's like, okay, I hadn't had enough. That's enough. That's enough. Not because I'm wrong. Not even if I'm right. It's just at a certain point it doesn't make sense anymore. It doesn't make sense to even have a conversation because obviously you're going to do what you want to do, and guess what? At that point, I'm going to do what I want to do, right? But this idea that if you walk out this door, I'm never coming back. When's the last time people got left with the I'm going out for cigarettes and I never came back. I'm going out to get some milk and never came back. That stereotype is at least 60 years old at this particular point. It's not real. But what is real is not taking another person into consideration when you
barking at them, when you're yelling at them, when you're talking crazy to them, when you're disrespecting them, and not understanding they want to get away from that. See, a lot of times people will talk about what happened to them as far as being a toxic relationship or a traumatic experience. But what people don't talk about enough is you keep instigating the situation to make it worse because, quote unquote, you just want to be happy. That's horrible, you know. And I can speak about it. Like years ago, I mean, dating people who they knew they were dead wrong and they deserved to be left. And they argue and argue and argue and argue and argue and argue, and it just be wasting time and wasting time and wasting time and stalling. Hopefully they're gonna argue you into submission, and you go, fine, I just deal with it tomorrow. But truth be told, when you keep arguing with somebody like that to get your way, even when you know you did wrong, it's over. Yeah, you're right, it is over. They gonna leave, or you gonna leave, one way or the other. If they gotta kick you out, if they gotta drag you out, or if they gotta pack up and leave, they gonna leave. You know. And sometimes we got to ask the question, how much abuse do you think another person is supposed to take? And I would say this for, I can't speak for the ladies, but for men, you know, a lot of you ladies expect to disrespect men. And you expect him to stay with that disrespect. You expect him to keep trying with that disrespect. You expect him to, work through all of your issues and problems with you while you're disrespecting him, as if he doesn't have a threshold, and he does. You know. So yeah, you're gonna push him away, and he ain't coming back. You feel me? He is not coming back. And then when you get upset, like everybody keeps leaving me, it's not that everybody's leaving you. You pushing everybody away. See, there's a difference between somebody packing up and leaving and you pushing somebody away and they get the message. Some of y'all are stupid to the point where you push people away and you somehow forget that you did that. Somehow you forget that you tell people to leave. Somehow you forget that you tell people I don't need you. Somehow you forget that you tell people, you know what I'm saying, I could do better without you. You forget that part. You push them away. And until you get to the point where you can get comfortable with a person, say, hey man, if we argue, cool, but I'll see you in the morning. If a person say I gotta go, cool. Because some people are so fearful that you push people away and you pushing people into the arms of another person. So now you just want to keep them stuck with you, you know. No, I don't care that I'm wrong. I don't care that we argue. You can't go anywhere. You can't cool off because I don't want you to wind up going somewhere out and go be with somebody else and they're better than me or it feels better than me on this one night and it's over. Because sometimes people just don't want to be alone. And that's weird that you want to push people away, but you don't want to be alone. Because from the outside looking in, a person would assume that, oh, you pushing me away because you don't want me, you don't want to be with me, you want to be by yourself, or you want to be with somebody else. No problem. I get the message. I'm gonna move on. But the problem is, when it comes to this relationship stuff, people forget that. People go through that. And they bring all their issues and their problems and their traumas from quote unquote childhood. And most of those traumas, unfortunately, are not real. I'm going to tell you why I say that. I remember years ago, and it has something to do with the topic, but doesn't. Young lady, she felt like she could stand up to men, and she was man. She could beat a man down or beat a man up rather. And I was like, where did you get that from? And she's like, when I was a kid, you know, I beat up a boy. I'm like, okay, you beat up a boy. What happened? Oh well, he messed with me in school, blah blah blah, and then he beat me up, and then I went home and I told my daddy, and my daddy we walked to find the guy, and we found him, and I beat him up right in front of my daddy, and I was like, let me ask you something. Did you ever look back? She's like, what? Did you ever look back? Is my question. At what? At your daddy? No. Like you think your dad's that kind of dad that was looking at the kid like if you hit my daughter I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna beat the brakes off you. She's like, yeah, he probably did that too. So yeah, so now you 20 something years old thinking you can beat up a grown man because of this fight in grade school, and you talking to guys disrespectfully, you treating guys disrespectfully, and it ain't gonna end. Your daddy ain't gonna be watching over your shoulder, looking at another guy like, don't hit my daughter anymore. You gotta chill out. Because what guys gonna do, they're gonna walk away from you. They're gonna get away from you. And if you follow them, yeah, that's on you. So that's why I had to say what I said. But tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one.
All I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow at night, know I gave you everything I had.